Hi everyone, this is BBlicious, and today I'm doing a tutorial using GIMP on how to resize textures, and also we'll do a short example on how to make a PNG file. So let me open GIMP. Okay, so first of all, a little disclaimer about GIMP. I use an older version. The reason I use an older version is because I prefer this one. It has something the newer version doesn't have, or else it's hidden it or renamed it and I can't find it, so I'm using an old one. Now the version I am using is 2.8.0, and it is a little crashy at points, so if you don't like that, if you are using a newer one. Now, okay, so I actually downloaded the newer version of GIMP and tried it, and when it got to making a PNG file, it worked fine, except it didn't have the feature I wanted. Excuse me. But also, whenever I went to make a PNG file, it wouldn't do the things I wanted it to do. It was all wonky. I couldn't figure it out, so I said fuck it. So I went back to the old GIMP that I really liked, that I'm really familiar with. So that's what I'm going to show you on today. If you want to download GIMP, just go to gimp.org. It's the GNU image manipulation program. And here's the most recent download right here. Download 2.10.34. That's the one I downloaded and tried to use, and it had me all fucked up, let me tell you. So if you want an older version, go to the Downloads tab right here. And this is for downloading the new one. Scroll down until it gets to older downloads. Previous version 2.8 installers for Windows right here, so you'll click on that, and then I used the first file, the one that looked decent. I don't understand tech language, so this one looked clean, so I downloaded that one and it worked fine. That's the one I'm using right now. Okay, and when it opens up, it's going to look like this, except it's going to be blank because I always have like a million projects open at one time, which is what you see here. I have all of I have all of these files open that I'm working on right now. Sometimes I have more. So, alright. So what we're going to do, we're going to download a picture. Let's just go with a koala bear. So we're going to find a koala bear. Let's just go with this one. This one's cute. So you can download it the old-fashioned way. Right click, save as, choose your folder that you want to. Listen, people, stay organized from the get-go. Don't just upload stuff nilly-willy and let it stay named whatever the computer wants to name it. Change that shit. Highlight the part you want to change. Type your name in there. It's not that hard. Okay, find yourself a folder. If you don't have a folder, create one. There's a button right up here that says new folder. Click that. See, it's put it in there. It's highlighted it. I'll just put, I'm going to name it junk, but I already have a junk folder. Junk animals. So we'll do that. So I have named the folder. We still got our koala bear in limbo here, so I'm just going to click on that folder. I'm inside of the junk animals folder, so I'm going to click save. Alright, a second way to do that, if you want to skip that part, you don't want to save it but you want to work on it, right click, copy image, open GIMP, go to the edit tab, paste as new image. Ta-da! Here we go. Alright, so there's a few ways that you can create a PNG image. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to create a PNG image and we're going to resize it. So all I want is the koala bear. Okay? I don't want the trees. I don't want the leaves. None of the background. I just want the koala. So So the first way you can get rid of all that background is to click on your fuzzy select tool. It looks like the little magic wand. Bring it over and highlight the area that you want to delete. Now, if it's a solid white background, easy. One click and it'll highlight the whole freaking thing. If it's a black background, any kind of solid background, one click it will highlight the entire background. But these trees, I'm going to zoom this in. These trees have a knotty, rough texture, and the fuzzy select recognizes that, so it's only going to pick up sections depending on where you click. So for backgrounds like that, we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to have to do it a different way. So we're going to just use the eraser and we're going to manually erase this stuff. I'm going to resize my brush, and then I am going to do a test swipe, and I'll explain that in a second. Okay, so I did a test swipe on the background. You see how it turned white? So we have to tell GIMP to make that transparent. It has kind of like a memory. So we're going to go back up to fuzzy select. We're going to highlight that test swipe. You see how it highlighted that whole area? And we're going up here to edit, and we're going to, no, I'm sorry, we're going to layer. We're going to layer. Transparency, color to alpha. We're telling GIMP that this color right here, white, we're going to turn that invisible. Click OK, and there you go. You have alpha that, it's invisible, made it a PNG. Now we just got to get the rest of it done. Now the reason we took this step was because we're telling GIMP, remember this action because we're going to be using it, so I want you to remember this. We're putting it in the memory. So we're going back to grab our eraser. Going to make the size a little bit bigger. And I'm going to roughly go around the koala and just get rid of the big areas. Like, just to save time, I'm just going to got the hiccups. Anytime I eat or drink anything, I get the freaking hiccups. That never happened until I had weight loss surgery. Now, whenever I eat or drink, I get the hiccups. Okay. So, we cleaned that up a little bit. Now we got to fine tune it. Our brush is way too big now. See that? See the size of it? So we got to come back down in size, something we can work with. Now I'm just going to pull it in, and I'm going to get super close. This is kind of like a coloring book, except you're not coloring in, you're taking stuff out. Just follow the lines. And I am using a mouse for this. I am using a mouse. So you peeps who have a laptop, I don't know if you're just using the pad, like the finger pad, or a mouse, but for me, I've used a laptop, and for me, I hate that stupid finger pad. So I prefer using a mouse. But that's just me. Do whatever makes you happy. Whatever is easiest for you, do your thing. Okay, now obviously I still have some areas here, so I need to make my brush smaller. And actually I'm going to try the fuzzy select again. Click the fuzzy select. I'm going to see if it's going to highlight these little areas. It did that one. I just hit delete on my keyboard. And then up here, select none. It gets rid of the marching ants. It's still a little messy right there. Let me try to clean this up a little bit. Same for the black areas over here. I'm just highlighting with the fuzzy select and then hitting delete on my keyboard. Okay. Now I'm going to hit select none. Now I'm going to put another layer behind this so you can see better. I'm going to layer, new layer. You can name it or number it or just leave it be. And I'm going to put it on the bottom. I just dragged it and dropped it. Excuse me. You're going to hear a lot of that today because my body's being a weirdo. So, excuse me. Alright, so I put this empty layer on the bottom and I'm going to use a color that's dark enough to make the dirty parts stand out, but not so dark it blends in. So I'm going to choose, let's go with this pretty blue. I'm going to click on the paint bucket in the toolbox, and then I click on the background layer and then touch the screen, and it's going to fill in the alpha part. It's not showing up the dirty section, so let's go with pink. That's better. See how dirty that is right there and right there? So clicking on the koala layer, I grab my eraser, make sure my brush is small enough. Zoom in so we can get down to the nitty gritty and start cleaning stuff up. Kind of use my country voice there. People say I'm country as fuck. Well, I am. So you'll hear that from time to time. My country coming out. Alright. Just cleaning this up a little bit. It might look stupid when I get done, but I don't care because this is just for teaching purposes. Don't think I'm going to be using it anywhere. Okay, so we got the koala. This looks pointy in some places, and actually I don't like this bottom part here, and I'll show you a little trick I use. So he's got foliage, trees, weeds, whatever it is over here, and I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to show you something I do. So always before I start working on something that's really could change it, I make a copy. So you can right click on the layer and click on duplicate layer, or I'm going to undo that, or you can come up here to layer and click on duplicate layer. Either way, you've made a copy. So this one on the bottom right here is the original. So I'm going to press the eyeball and I'm going to make it invisible. See? So the one we're working on is the copy. That way, if I fuck this up too bad and I can't reverse the damage, I can delete that and go back to the original and make another copy. Okay? It's a safeguard. I encourage you to use it. Okay, so depending on the texture of the picture I'm working with, I might be able to do this, I might not. I'm going to try it. Oh, that's way too big. You need like a medium-ish size brush depending on the area and how big of a mess it is. Alright, I'm going to zoom in. So I want this right here to look like the fur. Make sure I'm working on the copy, and I'm going to click on the smudge tool, and I'm going to smudge that thing right out of its hair. I'm going to smudge this stick right out of its hair. Okay, so, and I'm going to see how it looks. I don't think it's going to look too hot. No, because it looks like it's smudged. You don't want it to look like it's smudged. You want it to look like fur. So we're going to delete this copy and we're going to make the original visible, duplicate it again, make the original invisible. Make sure we're on the duplicated copy, and this time I'm going to use a second way to do things. So I'm going to, right here, there's like the fur is a certain color, and I want to capture that. So I'm using the rectangle select, and I selected a piece of the fur. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to cover this with the fur. So I'm going to go up here to edit, copy visible. Now I'm going to go back to edit. That just copied that whole little part I had highlighted. Go back to edit, paste as new layer. So it's going to end up in the left top corner. It always does that. I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. Alright, I've lost it. There it is. I used the move tool and I grabbed it, and I'm going to pull it down to the bottom. There might be easier ways to do all this shit, but I'm pretty much, for the most part, self-taught on GIMP. I did not take a class. I did not have a bunch of smart learning on GIMP. I just fucked with it until I learned it. I have had some instruction from other people along the way, things here and there, also a few YouTube videos, but for the most part I have figured this shit out myself. So if there's a better way to do this, then by all means tell everybody, but this is the only way I know. So anyway, you can do that. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. It's going to take a while, but you can just copy, paste the different areas of fur or whatever. Or you can just do this. Let me show you this. I'm going to get rid of that. I'll just paste it. And I'm going to take the rectangle select. No, I'm not. I'm going to take the eraser. I'm going to make it pretty big, and I'm just going to cut his butt off. Huh. How about them apples? He's got no ass. This will be fine if you're just sticking him in a picture somewhere where he's going to be hidden behind a clump of grass or peeking out from behind a tree or something like that. By all means, cut it off. You know, whatever works. As long as it looks good, I don't think people are really going to notice too much. I don't see people walking around RLC going, that koala has no ass. I just don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, so I'm going to use my smaller brush, just touch him up a little bit. If you have any dark spots, you'll want to get rid of them so that they don't stand out too badly, like right here. Needs to be smoothed out. This right here is not the best, but we're gonna roll with it. Got a little knot on his head. And just smooth it out. Okay. So we're done fixing up the koala. Now I'm gonna make the background invisible, because we were just using that pink as a guide so we could see what the hell we were doing. So we've made it a PNG. Now we need to crop it and resize it. Now let me tell you something. If you have a PNG and you got all this extra space around here, cut that shit off. Cut that shit off. Nobody needs that. Because listen, when you put this in RLC, the computer, somebody told me this. I don't know how true it is, but I use it as a rule. The computer is still counting these invisible pixels. You don't want the computer to count anything it don't need to, because that's going to make for slow loading. And if you have a bunch of people slow loading at the same time at the same door, it's going to get laggy. Cut that shit off. Okay, cut it off. So I've grabbed the crop tool, which looks like an X-Acto knife, and I'm just going to drag and drop the window. Going to create a little window. Come, you know, like you ain't got to be all up on it, but like come pretty close. Okay? Come pretty close. Computer don't need to be counting and nothing, they don't need to be counting. Click it once in the middle, it's cropped. Now we got to resize it. Go up here to image, scale image. The numbers to use, the very smallest ones, I would say don't go any smaller than 64, and only use 64 on a solid color, like a solid red with no pattern, no texture, just solid, or something like that. 128, so 64 in special circumstances, 128, 256, 512, 1024, and 2048, and you can make it bigger, but it better be on a fucking sky or something like that has to be super ultra clear. Use 1024 and up very sparingly. You can use them mixed up with each other, such as 128 by 1024. I use that a lot if I'm making banners or signs, something with text, because if you make the text, if you size it too small, it's going to become pixelated. So if I'm making a welcome home or happy birthday, happy anniversary, or something like that, grand opening, you know, where it's long and skinny, I will do like 128 or 256 by 1024 so that the letters stay sharp, clear, and all that. Nothing's pixelated or blurry. So you can use 512 by 512, 256 by 512, 128 by 1024, 256 by 256, 128 by 256, whatever. As long as they are 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, etc. Okay, it's called the power of 2. I don't have the technical explanation because I'm tech stupid, but if you want to look it up, it's somewhere in forums. You'll have to dig for it. So, or look it up on the internet. So, I'm going to resize this to 512 by 512 because that is what these numbers are closest to. I'm just going to highlight it and I'm going to type in 512, 512. Your resolution should always be 72. Why? I don't know. Just that's what I've been taught. So it has resized. Now, if your image looks wonky, that is okay. It's not going to look like this when it gets on your sign or whatever you're putting this on. It's not going to look wonky. When you put it on your sign, if it looks wonky, just stretch the sign until it looks right, and you're good. You're good. Going to File, we're going to, okay, now if you have layers that you want to save, let's just say we put a scarf on this koala, a red scarf. Let's just say next week we might want to change it to green, then we want to change it to blue. You're going to need to save the layers because you want to be able to reopen the layers so that you can recolor the scarf or remove it, okay, or change it in some way. But we don't have any layers like that here, so I'm just going to export the file. So if you're going to save layers, go to File, Save As, click on the find your folder, Junk Animals, double click. Instead of typing it again, I just click on the file and then backspace. We're not making it a JPEG, we're making it a PNG. If you save it as a JPEG, the background is going to be white. Okay? Save it as a PNG. To save, I hit enter on my keyboard, but you can click the save button. Yes, I know. For the for save as, when you're saving the layers, I do apologize. This is not a PNG file, this is an XCF file. You don't have to write anything. Just put the name, hit enter, or you can click on the export down there or save as. Now we're going to export it. Go to File, go to Export. It opens to Junk Animals. Now we change it to a PNG. Now let me show you what the difference is. You have two files on it, yes, but let me show you the difference. I'm going to close that. So I want to open the file. I'll go to Junk Animals. This is the XCF file. This is the one with all the layers. When we open it up, we can see the layers that we had before. Let me close that. Now I'm going to show you the PNG file. The PNG file has just your finished image. Excuse me. I'm rude. I don't know what, but sorry about that. So your PNG file is only going to reflect the finished image. It is not going to show you the layers. Make sure you save your layers if you are going to need them later. If you're not sure and you do have layers, save it. Better to be safe than sorry. Now, you can look up here and it'll tell you the name of your file and it will tell you the size, so you have it done correctly. So now we can upload that sucker in an other bucket or wherever you want to do it. So just go to the other bucket file, choose your file, find the file you saved it in, click on the PNG layer. You do not want to upload that layers file. That is just to work on. This is your working file. This is your finished image. This is what you want to upload. Click on upload, and then it'll give you the name of it here, and down here is the link. This little double paper icon, just click it. It has saved, and you will put that in crop edit. See how close we cropped that. And in World, this will be invisible. The background will be invisible. But that's your finished product, and that is how you use GIMP to resize a picture, and also how to make it a PNG. This is very basic, a very basic tutorial. So if you have any questions, please PM me in World, or please email me in World. I do not really see the videos, the comments and stuff on the videos on my YouTube channel. So if you have questions or whatever, please do just mail me. That's it. And if you have any suggestions for new videos, please email those to me. Please do not leave them for me on Skype or in PM or as comments on these videos, because I will not see them, or I might see them but I'll forget. I need a paper trail. So send me an email with your ideas or what you need, and I will do my best. And if I'm unable to do it, I will try and recommend someone else's channel or someone who might can do it for you. Okay? So I hope that helped, and you guys have a great day. Thanks.